Week 2 of college football is in the books, man. And this was a week of close games, some dominating games. But would you say this was an upset week alert? I don't know. Let's talk about it. Saturday Roundup coming up next. Yeah. It's time for the Saturday Roundup. Well, Texas has proven again that they are here, that they are for real, and that they are a national championship contender. Texas walked into Ann Arbor, Michigan, and just dominated the Michigan Wolverines. Quinn Ewers had a day. Man, he was great. He looked proficient. He looked comfortable. He looked like he was leading the number one team in the country. Why would I say number one? Georgia did it last week, but Georgia had a slow start. And also Georgia did it close to home. Texas did it on the road in Ann Arbor, Michigan in the big house. It's the second time they've done it in 2 years. They went into Alabama last year and beat Alabama 34-24 on the road. This year, they went into the defending national champions' house and beat them 31-12. Texas is for real. Texas needs to be taken care of. Texas needs to be reckoned with. That's why I picked them to win the SEC this year. On the other hand, Michigan, man, Michigan's offense like it was stuck. Looks like it was stuck in mud. Man, I don't know. Was Harbaugh that instrumental in Michigan's offense? Will they miss Harbaugh? Time will tell. Time will tell. But I'm telling you, Texas is legit. They are legit. I don't know why teams schedule teams that they could actually lose to in the beginning of the season. Now, it makes for great football. Don't get it twisted. I enjoy watching it because it makes for great football. But in the long run, does that help? Let's take a look at this, man. Kansas State traveled to Tulane and played the Tulane Green Wave this past Saturday. Let's go back in history a little bit. Tulane played the number 9 Ole Miss Rebels last year in the 2023 football season, and that was a tie ball game going into the fourth quarter, 17-17 if I'm not mistaken. But Ole Miss eventually pulled away and ended up winning 37-20 in that game last year. Let's fast forward to this season. This was a game throughout. Tulane gave the number 17 ranked team in the country, the Kansas State Wildcats, a game, all game. Tulane 491 total yards. Kansas State 396 yards. 342 passing yards for Tulane to 181 for Kansas State. 149 rushing yards for Tulane compared to 215 for Kansas State. Tulane had more turnovers, which ultimately probably is the reason why Tulane lost, because they had one fumble loss and they had one interception. So, and I always say turnovers determine the game. It determines the game. It is more than likely what determined the game last week between South Carolina and Old Dominion. But Tulane is a real team, man. Tulane could possibly be that group of 5 team that gets into the playoff. That could literally be Tulane, but great showing by both teams. It was a great game to watch. But man, Tulane on the cusp, man. They on the cusp. They right there. They gonna beat somebody. They're gonna beat somebody. This was a classic of a game because I was not expecting Arkansas to go in and be competitive against Oklahoma State. I was not. I thought they had a pretty decent quarterback going in that would give them a chance, but I did not know that they would go in and do what they did. Arkansas went into Stillwater, Oklahoma, and they had a game with the Cowboys, with old Mike Gundy. Arkansas came in and went up 21-7 against Oklahoma State. They dominated the first half. Oklahoma dominated. They played complementary football with each other. The offense complemented the defense. T. Will had them guys doing great things on the defensive side of the ball. But in the second half, man, it kind of just like they kind of tried to coast through and just try to win the game. And I'm like, bro, you gotta play. You gotta keep your foot on the gas. You gotta keep your foot on the gas, Arkansas. You should have won that game. That game should not have come down to the fact to where Oklahoma State comes back and takes the lead, and now you have to score to go into overtime. That should not have happened. This game went into two overtimes. Two missed field goals in the first overtime, and then a touchdown run by Ali Gordon to seal it for Oklahoma State. Man, I would tell you this, man. Coaching caused Arkansas to lose that game in the end. Arkansas should have won that game. Arkansas looked really good, man. They looked really good, at least for the first half. Second half, they kind of coasted. And they looked really good, man. Arkansas looked really good, which kind of got me a little worried about this Auburn Arkansas game coming up. I don't know, man. I don't know, but we'll see. I can't wait. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Let's go. You know how when you see something, but you don't know if what you watching is real? If that makes sense. Like, so watching some of this South Carolina versus Kentucky game, I was like, is Kentucky that bad on offense? Or is South Carolina really that good on defense? Like, I was conflicted because I'm like, I just watched this same South Carolina team struggle with Old Dominion last week. But then you come out here and you put up 31 against a Kentucky team with Brock Vandergriff, who's a transfer from Georgia, at the helm. I don't know. Like, is South Carolina one of those teams that you just don't know what team you're gonna get from week to week? South Carolina had 252 total yards of offense, 166 passing yards, 86 rushing yards, 0 fumbles, and 1 INT. Compared to Kentucky, who only had 183 total yards of rushing, 44 passing yards. 44 passing yards. South Carolina held them to less than 100 yards of passing, 139 rushing yards, and 2 INTs, and one of those INTs was a pick six. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think Shane Beamer has Mark Stoops' number. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think this is like the third or fourth year that South Carolina has beaten Kentucky or something like that. I mean, it's interesting, man. Like, what South Carolina team are we going to see every week? We don't know. So we need to see more of South Carolina. And hopefully Kentucky can get it together, because I think Mark Stoops is still kind of upset about not being in Texas A&M right now. But hey, who am I? Who am I? The upset of the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. The Northern Illinois University football team went to South Bend, Indiana, and beat the number 5 team in the country, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, 16-14. Congratulations to head coach Thomas Hammock and his NIU football team for going in and getting a big win against a top 5 ranked team. This makes me feel like what I saw last week against Texas A&M from Notre Dame was a farce. So is Notre Dame's offense that inept? Is it that inept? Is Riley Leonard the answer? Did we put too much stock into Riley Leonard? Second week in a row, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions thrown, no touchdowns, no passing touchdowns. Notre Dame may be good on defense. Marcus Freeman is good. He's known for that. Marcus Freeman, when he was the defensive coordinator, I believe when he was the defensive coordinator at Cincinnati had a really good defense. It was really good. But what is going on with Notre Dame's offense? They can't. Is it a quarterback issue? Because I know for sure last year Notre Dame's offense was a lot more efficient than what it looks like this year. Is it a quarterback problem? Is Notre Dame having a quarterback problem in Ann Arbor, not in Ann Arbor, but in South Bend? I don't know, man. I don't know. They may need to study that. That might need to be studied. Ah, man. Hopefully they get it right. But congratulations to NIU. They went in and they got the win. Shout out to Coach Thomas Hammond getting the NIU football team, baby. Good job. Good job. If you would allow me a couple of minutes to just vent on this one right here. The Cal Golden Bears came into Auburn, Alabama yesterday, and they beat Auburn 21-14. As you can tell by the looks on my face right now, I am pretty upset about that. Very upset. Auburn should have won this game. Auburn should have took it more seriously. Auburn should have had a game plan in place. But instead, we have an inept quarterback. We have an offensive line that can't handle regular pressure. And we have what seems to be a coaching staff that doesn't know what it wants to do, what the philosophy is. Which is my gripe against this right now. It seems as if we want to go fast all the time, but we don't know how to slow it down to at least give our defense a break. When your quarterback throws 4 interceptions, ladies and gentlemen, what do? You run the ball. Let's run the ball some. Well, we tried that, but then we do it late, and then now our guy's not in. He's not in sync, and now he fumbles the ball. The most sure-handed guy on our team, probably the best player on our team, fumbles the ball. I am right now. I am still upset about this, man. Really upset about this, man. Auburn should have won this game. And that's the fan in me talking. But when I watch Cal play, Cal looked good. Cal's defense looked like an SEC defense. Those 2 linebackers they had in the middle, Ulave, and I want to say the other one's name is Brandon. They looked really good, physical, filling the holes, wrapping up, tackling, playing sideline to sideline. The corners look big. The corners look physical. Mendoza, he came in and he did what he had to do. He took what the defense gave him. That's what you do as a quarterback. You lead your team down the field. You take what the defense gives you. Not throw 50-50 balls all game long. Right now, I speak for a majority of Auburn football family right now is, Coach Frazier, you need to make a decision. You need to make a decision, sir. And you need to make a decision soon. Are you going to stick with Peyton Thorne, or are you going in a different direction? It needs to happen soon. We need to know. We need to know. And finally, in prime time, the Colorado Buffaloes traveled to Lincoln, Nebraska, and faced the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Instead of fighting each other, hey, Colorado should have been trying to fight these dudes on the other side of the field. I mean, if you know what I'm talking about, there was a video that leaked where coaches were fighting each other in the Colorado locker room. There's questions about rampant discipline issues and the cohesiveness of the program and all types of stuff like that. A lot of people saying it's just wild, wild west in Colorado. I don't know. I'm just reading what the reports say. It is what it is, man. But pertaining to this game, Nebraska came out, handled their business in the first half, and basically just chilled the rest of the game, and just let the defense take over the game for the rest of the game. That's really what happened. They came out 14 points in the first quarter, 14 points in the second quarter, and after that, they didn't really have to do anything. Colorado scored 10 points in the second half, 3 in the third, and 7 in the fourth. But Shiloh Sanders went out with a broken forearm. They had another one of their veteran star linebackers ejected for targeting. Travis Hunter's the best player in college football, and you know how I feel about Travis Hunter. He's the best player in college football. Shedeur Sanders, 23 of 38, 244 yards, touchdown and an INT. Colorado is very undisciplined. Look like a very undisciplined football team. And I honestly don't know what to do. I don't know what needs to be done for them to happen. Like a lot of people, I don't know if it's the fact that people don't want to criticize Coach Prime or what it is, or they feel some type of way about it. But in the words of my co-host, Marcus Fitzpatrick of the Water Cooler Talk podcast, Colorado looks like an undisciplined football team. And when you start hearing these reports of what's coming out of the locker room from former players and from people around the program, and when video leaks to where you have two coaches fighting each other and then you have one coach narrating it, it kind of makes those points in line with what they saying about the undisciplinedness of the football team. I mean, you got the best player in college football. You got a quarterback who will more than likely play on Sundays. But you can't. It's Colorado recruiting is a part of it as well too. You transfer portal, but you got to recruit as well. Colorado need to get bigger in them trenches, man. I'm telling you, football is won on the offensive and defensive on the line. The line of scrimmage is where football is won. And Colorado got to get that right. They got to get it right. But shout out to Nebraska though, man. Nebraska came in and did what they did to do, and they just chilled the second half and let the defense take over. Hey, I'm telling you, Matt Rule got something cooking in Nebraska, man. He got something cooking. He got something cooking. That would do it for this week's episode number 2 of the Saturday Roundup, man. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share the video, man. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, the Water Cooler Talk podcast channel, man. We thank y'all so much. For my co-host, Marcus Fitzpatrick, for myself, man, we thank y'all so much for rocking with us, man. Let us know how you feel about it. Tell us if you like it. Tell us what else you want to see. Tell us what more you want to hear. Man, we appreciate you so much, man. Like, comment, subscribe, and share the video, man. Share it with all your family, man. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for rocking with us here, man. And make sure you subscribe to the Water Cooler Talks podcast channel on your favorite podcast player as well. And listen to us every Wednesday here on YouTube and your favorite podcast player, man. As always, y'all have a good one. Y'all be great, man. One love. We'll see you next week.